Hi, for today's 2-minute bass lesson, we're going to cover the second mode of the church modes, and it's also the second part of my mode series. And we're going to cover the Dorian mode. Now obviously the Dorian mode is the second mode in the series of the modes. There's 7 in total. And in the previous video I talked about how the modes are created, but that was very general, so I'm going to get specific to how the Dorian mode is created. So in the key of C, if we wanted to create the Dorian mode for the key of C, it's built off the second scale step in the key of C. So if you take a C major scale and play the second note, you have a D. So if we go to D and we play the D Dorian mode, we're going to create it by taking all the notes of the key of C, so there's no sharps and flats, and playing it from the D up to its octave. And that would give us D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So you notice it's not the same shape as the C major scale. Because we're using the notes of the C major scale, we're starting on D. Let's look at the intervallic construction, which means what intervals are found in it. And that's going to help us determine which chords it matches up well with. So of course we have a root, we have a major second, a minor third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, which I think is a real color tone. This is one of the scale tones that really defines Dorian, minor 7, and the octave. So if you look at that, we have a root, minor third, perfect fifth, minor 7, octave. So within the mode, there's a minor 7 arpeggio. So that tells us right away it's a perfect fit for any kind of minor triad or minor 7 chord. And that's when you would use it, one of the ways. So if you're jamming with your band and they have a little middle section that's an A minor or an A minor 7, you could go to A Dorian and the notes are going to really, play really well against the harmony of the chord. Let's talk a little bit about the technique, because this is one of the only modes where in just a 1 octave fingering you have to make a little bit of a shift. And so I want to talk about that because it does confuse players at times. I prefer to start this 1 octave pattern with my index finger, play my ring finger, then the pinky, index, ring. So on the 5th I'm ending on the ring. When I go to play that major 6, I shift my hand back 1 fret, play the major 6 with my index finger, play the minor 7 with my middle finger, and then play the octave with my pinky. Now on the way back down it's a little different. I go pinky, middle, index. Now I shift with my ring finger, and that allows my fingers to finish out the scale without any further shifts. Now there's a couple ways, and I've seen guys do it successfully. It's just what's comfortable. That's one way, but if you prefer to do your shifting a little different, just make sure that whatever fingering you come up with, you can play scale fragments and phrases without the shift kind of ruining the flow. So, try mine out, see if you come up with any more of your own that you like. Now I did talk about how this mode matches up perfectly with minor 7 arpeggio or minor 7 chords, minor triads. But I also find that in like a funk or blues setting, I'll use it against a dominant chord. Now if you look at a dominant, like D dominant or D dominant 7 arpeggio, you have the root, major third, perfect fifth, minor 7. So the only discrepancy is that the mode, the Dorian mode, has a minor third and the chord has a major third. But that can actually add a little bit of like tension, a little bit of stank on it, so it actually kind of has a little nasty feel to it. Yet it ends perfectly with a major 6, minor 7, and an octave, so it matches up really good with Dorian. So against like an E Dorian chord, I'll play, like if I'm slapping, I might slap E Dorian, this actually, and I'll slap those notes to fit against this chord. I think they just sound so great against that dominant, putting my minor third up against that major third in the dominant, I think just puts a cool tension on there. So there you have it. We've talked about the Dorian. I've given you the structure of it and some fingering suggestions. But I want you to jam on it. Really, take that 1 octave. If you've got a drum machine or a drummer who will come over and just groove with you, just try to see what you come up with. And don't just stick with funk or jazz or blues. Try every style, and you got to move it to all 12 keys. Don't favor your favorite roots or just because you only know the next certain way. Force yourself to learn it in all 12 keys. And that's going to make you a much more powerful bass player. So there you have the Dorian mode, our second part of the series. If you have any questions about this or want to suggest any further lessons, please email me at dalet@danabygoods.com. Thanks so much. See you later.